Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today, I get to hang out with my buddy, Juan Recinos, who is the COO of Bright Futures Psychiatry. Um, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his soup fanaticism. That's an interesting fact about him. But Juan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So we met at I got to MC the best of the best workplaces in Colorado Springs by the Gazette this year, and Juan's company was honored at that event. And then we just stood out to each other. Like I got to meet Juan and his son. Man, your son just represents himself like such a professional, passionate young man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So Juan, tell us a little bit about your soup fanaticism real quick. You said you're a soup. I said, interesting fact, you're a soup fanatic. What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know what it is about soup, man. I could just whip together a random soup, and it ends up. I classify them by like how much I would pay for that soup.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's I don't know. It started from when I was a kid, and like any new town I go visit, I always look for their local soup. And Colorado's got some interesting chili
Yeah.
kind of soup. Yeah.
Yeah. So chili fits in the category of soup.
Yeah, because it's brothy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot. What's the best soup in Colorado Springs?
Ooh.
Or good soup. Doesn't have to be the best soup. There's some good soup in Colorado Springs.
Well, one of the best ones is it's Vietnamese. So it's Saigon Grill up by Cinema Point. It's called their pho is just delicious, consistently delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. All right, y'all heard it from Juan. You need to go check out Saigon Grill and get that pho.
Yeah,
The good pho will make your life better.
it will.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, let's get into it. So we're gonna be learning more about you, more about how you've created how you've helped to contribute to this workplace, this healthy workplace that was celebrated as a top workplace in Colorado Springs, and kind of what's been your story, leading to who you are today. Which you and I got to meet. Y'all don't know Juan yet, but Juan's an incredible man with an incredible gift. Tell us a little bit about your origin story and how you became a great leader.
Oh, geez. I don't know about a great leader. We started this organization back in August of 2008, 18, sorry, to basically fill a need that we identified in the community. I think anyone that's been here for more than a year or so, in Colorado Springs in particular, or Colorado in general, they understand that the mental health scene it's struggling. It needs help. It's needed help. I mean, that's the same could be said across the country. I understand, but this is my community, so
yeah,
we sought to make a difference, and doing so meant access. So if we start from the simplest thing, which is access to care, access to psychiatric help on the outpatient side. It was just so slim, and it's still fairly slim. But that's what we wanted to do, was bring access to the community in a way that made sense, that didn't complicate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some organizations really complicate the process for getting in to see a provider, and we wanted to simplify it as much as possible. I've been in the mental health field for over 20 years, managing in all sorts of capacities, from inpatient hospitals to outpatient multi-system, multi-specialty type environments. And so lots of lessons learned. We took all the lessons that I had learned up until that point and applied them here, and were able to really just accelerate our stake. And yeah.
How did you discover the problem, that you're solving?
Yeah. In the inpatient world, one is supposed to say I was admitted into an inpatient psych facility. This is across the country, and I'm supposed to have a treatment plan in place. If I was admitted, if I was in this state, the M1, if I was admitted, then I need a discharge plan, and that discharge plan is supposed to include medication management. It's resources. It's supposed to connect me with therapy groups. It's supposed to do a lot of different things. And we noticed here in particular, it was just not really happening. And bad stuff happens when, I mean, those rules are there for a reason, and they are rules. And when those rules aren't followed, bad things happen. And in our environment, bad things end up destroying lives pretty significantly. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So identifying that and seeing, well, what's available, and what was available is still slim. And then, okay, so we say, okay, let's take a look at what does it take to get into see a mental health provider. And you call 10 organizations and you get 20 different complications on how to get in. Now, if I was just discharged, I'm not in the best state of my life, right? So, being admitted into an inpatient psych facility, what their job is, and a lot of people don't understand this, their job isn't to fix the problem. Mm-hmm. Their job is to stabilize you. Mm-hmm. Stabilize you so that you're no longer a threat to yourself or others.
Yeah.
That's it. That's their job.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems like, wow, that's kind of disheartening, but that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. So but part of that is, getting you connected to resources in the community. So people were being discharged. We noticed and again, this is not just here local, this is everywhere else as well. People being discharged without a proper plan. And so what ends up happening, well, problems weren't engaged, and so you end up back inside, or worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's your client is typically the person that's coming out of inpatient, right?
That's not our typical client. Our typical client is actually more like you and me. Yeah, but that was the extreme that we saw needed help.
I see.
That was one extreme. Another one was people like you and me saying, after years of like, no, I'm all right, or I'm self-medicating with a bunch of alcohol and like street stuff and like self-medicating but we're still functioning. And we're like, no, I'm okay, I got this. And then eventually I'm like, you know what, I think I need help. I need help. Okay, I'm gonna look up some help. And then the help isn't really there. The help, it's complicated to get through. And that was one of the first things that we started with was, how do we simplify that experience there? I need help. I'm not inpatient. My life is fine. And I want to do something about the ish part. How do we simplify that so that we remove as many steps as possible that get you to either someone who can assess for medications, assess for transcranial magnetic stimulation, or assess for therapy.
Yep. And
just the assessing part is insufficient, though. We need to have the resources to say, okay, Johnny, it seems like you're struggling with X, Y, and Z. Let's get you plugged in with provider, Smith, whatever. Because Smith, he likes to engage professionals that have your insurance carrier and can has access, say, in the next week. Because that's the other part. Like, okay, I finally decided I'm going to get help. I go and search some websites, and I see, okay, this person has my carrier, my insurance. They accept my insurance. I request an appointment. Say they call me back within 10 minutes, which is pretty awesome. We do that, by the way. So they call me back and they say, hey, Juan, thanks for submitting your appointment request form. Let's engage, right? So then they start getting information, and then we get to the point where, how soon can I get seen? Out there, typically it's, in about a month or two, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just got beat up again.
Yeah.
Because, and so that again, we're coming back to the access. Access doesn't feel good if it's 3 months from now to see a mental health professional. It's just that's not cool. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. So you're solving that, and I can hear it. Also, there's a sense in which you feel like you're serving the community, right? Like that was, and I hear a couple times also your enemy, the enemy or the dragon that you're slaying, so to speak, is complication. The complication of getting help, is what you're up against, and it sounds like you've been able to successfully simplify basically by, I mean, you have organizationally, I think I learned this about you. Like you have an organizational or systematic mind. Like you can, so you identified areas where you could ease the pain of transition.
Yeah. And so we have one of our OKRs, so objective and key results. One of our OKRs or goals, if you will, is to have access to new clients within 7 business days of them requesting service.
Yeah.
So within 7 business days, and that's because I can't make it within 3 business days yet.
Yeah. But are you moving that direction? Is that your goal?
It is. It should be within 3 hours. Really. Yeah. But there's a whole operational balancing act that takes place when you get too close to real time, and but that is the goal, like shorten it.
Yeah, and you think you can?
Yeah, we have. Because it's one of our main goals. We talk about it every single day. Yeah, and it's based on tools that everybody has access to. By everybody, I mean organizations. Yeah, they just don't use them.
Yeah. So even this conversation that we're having about kind of what you're trying to do and what you've already done within the space, why you're there, is kind of revealing towards your superpower, what I would call your superpower, your special gift. So how would you articulate that? Like the gift, the thing that brings you joy and that brings effectiveness to the world, and that's allowed you to kind of have these kind of results that you're describing. What is that gift, if you could articulate it for me?
I think it's got something to do with systems thinking, and honestly having the grit and the grind to get at it, because some days, some weeks it gets challenging, but being able to show up and say I am here for the long term, for the long haul, and and at the end of the day I love what I do. It's fun for me because I like building stuff.
Yeah.
And it happens to be that I'm pretty decent at this thing. So it's building with a systems mentality and understanding that every organization is an ecosystem, and it consists of an ecosystem, and if you don't treat all the different parts of the ecosystem with the time and respect that they need, one of them starts to fall apart, and then one of them could affect others. So it's having the grit to show up, keep showing up.
You're an interesting contradiction, Juan, because you're kind of a peaceful dude. Like there's I've sat in your presence, like we broke bread together. Yeah. There's a peace that you have, but you're also hungry. You're entrepreneurial and you're super hungry. How do you reconcile those two? How do you put those two together?
I believe that I was put here for a reason and a purpose. I have a purpose, and I know what my purpose is, and I think a lot of us aren't clear on our purpose, and so it feeds me. I consider every day a gift, and for me a gift from God, and it's up to me to make the best of it.
Yeah man. So what is that purpose?
One of the core ones, because I think it's multi-purpose, one of the core ones is I know what happens when systems don't work for the communities, for people, and for families. And so I know what happens. I've seen it, been part of it in this world, in my environment. You don't exist in my environment without seeing what happens. And to me, it's just utterly devastating when someone commits suicide. Even when they attempt, it's still devastating. Yeah. And to the family group, to the friends groups, to the work group, and society in general. So I've always in my mind it's like somebody just threw a hand grenade into the family dynamic. Somebody threw a hand grenade into the friend group, and when someone attempts, and let alone completes, and so one of my core is like, how do I help curve that? I know I can't stop it, but I can curve it, evidenced by my center, and I can do something about it. And that's, I can build an organization that helps people quickly, gets at it, and doesn't like make it complicated. So that's one of the core ones, and it creeps all over me every time when I start to think about it. I can feel the energy rising actually. Because it is completely devastating, and so I know what it looks like. And growing up in I grew up in a welfare system in Miami, and so I know what it's like to be on the have-nots. From a healthcare system perspective, and like we want to be part of the solution. So yeah, that's why we actually focus on like Medicaid clients and TRICARE and TriWest, veterans, because another thing that is common, very disheartening in our community, especially here, seeing how many bases we have, is that the VA system, it doesn't work. We all know it. I'm a veteran myself, and so are like half of the people that work here. And it's a broken system, and we have people in fragile states that depend on that. And it's like, and so one of our core, when we launched, it was Medicaid. It seems like, especially in mental health, nobody wants to engage the mental health population, the Medicaid mental health population. Or TRICARE, or the active duty, their families, or veterans. And it's like, that doesn't make sense. Why not? And so, sorry, I think I veered off there.
No, you're this is the good stuff, man. I saw you light up with that, and I'm gonna tell you, there's something I noticed here, that kind of came into my mind as you were talking. Healer of systems, because fixer of systems doesn't do it, because there's a part of like the testimony, like the reason, the community, the care, the way that you feel the impact of people's lives being destroyed. There's a nurturing there's a nurturing element there. That's not just, let me fix this, but it's more like you want to heal people. You want people to be healed. So I say healer, and part of the way you help people heal is by healing broken systems, right? Does that register with you?
Yeah, it does. In that, I reflect on our healthcare system in general. I have, again, tons of experience in this environment. The unfortunate part is that the healthcare system that we have, just the big healthcare system, it's doing exactly what we designed it to do. And it's not that it's broken, it's that it's doing exactly what we designed it to do. And and it's difficult to understand, well, why would we design something like this? It's because we had a lot of interested parties that wanted to do something from the right place. Like they wanted to be there for their community, and what they ended up building was things that never evolved. And when they don't evolve, they get stuck in old formats. And so it's still doing what it was designed to do. And we're trying to build something new, but it's still confined by the insurance world that we do live in. And so, and we could move on to like, cash pay only. Sure. But then we're leaving a lot of people out again, and we're about the access.
You're about the access, and so in that sense of purpose. One other thing I notice about you is that you're a protector. So I'd say healer and protector are both big parts of how you're serving the people around you. Tell me a little bit about how that translates to your team, because a big part of this conversation is, all right, you've got a great team. How have you? First, we get to know you. A team is a reflection. In a lot of ways, a team is a reflection of the leader, right? And I know the leaders are you and your wife, also, correct? So tell me a little bit more about how you use those gifts to shepherd a team.
That is tricky because I mean you hit it on the head. I am also a very ambitious person,
Yeah.
and I do have that aggressive side of me that just wants to go. Uh, I've learned over the years how to channel that better in a healthier way because, like, I don't know, I don't want to intimidate people. That's not the
Right.
point, you know.
Right.
And so, and I also like historically when we started building our this organization, it was more how do we hire folks that that we're going to jive with?
Yeah.
Because if we don't hire it's about the personality. It's not about the necessarily the degrees and the special pieces of paper on the wall because those only go so far, and that's actually sets a base. It's not the goal. That's the base, and so yeah. The hiring people. Here's an interesting one for you. The way we've historically decided on who to hire is, aside from the credentials and like proper licensing and that kind of stuff, that's the minimum. Is, do I want to have a beer with this person? Would I want to have a beer with this person?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I don't want to have a beer with this person, why would I want to work with them every day? I know that one's kind of gnarly.
That's so good. It's good though, bro.
Some HR person's gonna cringe on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But it makes sense. I mean, and what would you what ends up being the characteristics? Because I think there's more to that. You're saying that as an example, right?
Yeah.
If I don't want to have a beer with you, it's because I sense something about you, probably, right? That's maybe harder to put into words.
Yeah. So things that are typically like deterrents, that they start to raise little flags, little yellow flags, are, they talk very negatively about their prior employer. And while it's fine that, like, hey, you probably left for a reason, right?
Yeah.
But everything couldn't have been bad. Everything couldn't have just been horrible at your previous workplace, or else why would you have been there for 2 years or 5 years?
Right.
And so if you were there in a negative environment that was that bad and you were there for 5 years, so what does it say about you? It's like you're not going to speak up for yourself. You're not going to raise concerns when concerns should be raised. You're not going to defend your team members. It says things. Or they're like, okay, this one's kind of interesting because it's very taboo. Of like, oh my gosh, work-life balance. What does work-life balance actually mean to the individual? So like when somebody says, oh, I just want a good work-life balance, please tell me more. I'm totally down for work-life balance, but what does it mean to you?
Yeah.
And sometimes those are like, well, I want to work, as few hours as possible. And I want to get paid like I'm working 45 hours a week steady, and I want a bonus and a raise. And so it's like, oh, and what's your vacation policy? How soon can I start taking vacation? And it's like, where's your mind at? Is your mind like wanting to join the team?
Yeah.
Because there's a team here that's waiting for you if you're the right person. That team isn't going to be like, oh, well, when can so-and-so start taking vacation? No, it's like, how can I depend on my new teammate?
Yeah.
And so little things pop up and,
Yeah. There's ways we filter people out because at the end of the day, the worst thing you can do is bring the wrong person into your culture.
Yes.
Because they will erode the culture, right?
100%.
The battle gets won. I mean, a lot of the battles that people have could have been won. They're lost because of who they chose to hire.
Yeah.
Right?
Or how long they held onto the wrong hire. So like the wrong hire could be just as bad as holding on to the wrong hire could be just as bad as the wrong hire at all. And so, but then that brings that team leader's decision making into perspective too. It's like, hey, it sounds like I need to help you out a little bit more here for the team leader. So we tell our teams, like, well, we tell all our staff, we want you here because you want to be here. We don't want you here because you feel stuck.
Right.
If you're feeling stuck, let's engage that and see, why do you feel stuck? Where Where do you feel stuck? And how can we help? Well, can we help it? Or can we help you figure out a
Yep.
transition plan? Because that's
Yep.
okay too. You don't have to be here forever.
Yep.
While you're here, though, you should want to be here because you want to be part of the team. And so we tell our team leaders as well, you're not doing, and I can't remember where the concept comes from, but you're not doing anyone any good, any service by holding on to someone that doesn't really belong anymore. You're not doing that person a service, and you're not doing the team a service.
Yes.
Because the longer that person sticks around, the longer it's going to take them to actually find where it is that they should be. That
Yes.
they're going to thrive and feel great.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's 100% true. It just when you're about to pull the trigger and let somebody go, it's hard to feel that as true. But it is true. That's why sometimes you need an external voice to tell you it is true, right? Because it's like, well, it might be better for the company, but it's not better for them because they're going to lose their job. Nah, man. Being in a job where they don't want you there, it's pretty dehumanizing, pretty demoralizing, pretty sad. And you're aware on some level. It makes you afraid and all those negative emotions, right?
Right. And that's the kind of thing that we want to try to avoid is how do we prevent things like that from escalating and like just becoming, because it erodes, it definitely erodes the culture. So we have a whole process on how we engage our teammates. We actually get to learn and understand them from a personal perspective, from a financial perspective, and a professional perspective. And that concept comes from Natalie Dawson, which I highly recommend her books.
Natalie Dawson. Okay.
Yeah, Natalie Dawson. She's done an amazing job at consolidating how to build teams.
Yeah.
And one of her books is called Teamwork, and the other one is Start the Work.
Yeah.
And both of those are reference books for me. I use those all the time.
Okay.
I highly recommend them for anyone who's in this kind of role. Actually, for anyone, period.
That's worth the price of admission right there. Just a good book recommendation. What were the three components of that framework?
So it's personal, professional, and financial. And if you think about, and she shortens it to PPF, personal, professional, financial. And her approach is, how are you supposed to help someone become part of your organization, your team, if you don't know them from a personal perspective? Like, what drives them?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that they want? Not like, oh, I want to grow in the organization. Cool, yeah, I would hope so, or else you wouldn't be applying here, right? It's more on the personal side, like, hey, I want to hike Pikes Peak this year. Cool. Why? What's motivating you to do that? Well, that's interesting. Why Pikes Peak? Oh, because I've lived here for 15 years and I've never hiked it, and I look at it and it's the mountain. I feel like it's saying, hey, you still haven't scaled me. And and so it's like you get to learn people.
Yeah.
You get to understand them from a human perspective, and that is so missing from so much. So personal, professional, financial. My goodness, nobody ever wants to talk about financial.
Yeah.
Like organizations,
right.
Oh no, don't even tell anybody how much you make.
Mm-mm.
No, you can't talk about that. It's all taboo. And it's like, why? Where's it written?
Yeah.
Let's challenge that.
Yeah. Let's have honest conversations about it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, because if my teammates, like I'm recalling one of my team leaders, she was like, well, I'm very uncomfortable up front. I totally get it, because organizations never talk about these things. And it's like, I want to be able to pay off all my credit card debt. That's great. Awesome. How much is your credit card debt? I have like $35,000. All right. So we have a number. Okay. How can the organization how can we pair up together? Not on the normal stuff, because you're already doing a job with us, right? How can we pair up, team up, to see what else you could do for the organization during your normal working hours that could bring in additional revenue that we could give you credit for and provide a bonus on a quarterly basis. So you could pay that 35 grand, not in 12 months, but maybe in 8 months. How's that? And it's like, oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Dude, I love the way you think, man. Like I don't know. I've never had a boss like you.
I haven't either. That's the thing.
Yeah,
It's like it's like
yeah,
if we were designing this for ourselves, what would we want? We would want to be treated with dignity and respect, and understanding that I'm a human and humans want to grow.
yeah.
We don't want to stay stagnant.
Right.
We want to grow.
As a whole person, right? As a
As a
whole
whole
person.
person.
And the reason we don't ask the question, like, well, I'm not going to ask you financial questions. I'm not going to ask you what you want or what you aspire to because I don't have any money to give you, right? Like I'm scared. I'm scared to ask or to be aware of it because if I'm aware of it, then I'm going to look bad if I don't give you a raise. But I'm not going to give you a raise, so I'm not going to ask. Like that's that transactional kind of push-pull that doesn't have to be there, right? If a person actually believes like, nah, I know the organization doesn't have money to give me a raise necessarily, but they care. They sure do care about me and want to find a way to help me in whatever way they can.
Yeah,
that's what you sacrifice when you want to enter the conversation, right?
Absolutely. And so you, if you think about it from a different perspective, so my organization is growing. I'm right now getting ready to expand. Probably about so we're a staff of about 30 right now, and I'm looking to get to about 38 to 40 by the end of the year, and there's most of that is providers, so people who could see patients. And so with that growth comes additional leadership opportunity. So I'm going to grow my front office team, my clinical assistant team, my revenue cycle team. All those pieces need to grow in order to be ready to accept all the growth that comes with hiring new providers. And so what that means is I'm going to need another team leader. I'm going to need another associate team leader. And guess what? Those come with raises too. They come with responsibility, but they also come with raises. And, you know, with one of my, say my front office team leader is like, hey, I think, you know, staff X would be a great associate team leader. And why? Because they work with them every day. They see the quality of their work, and in their conversations, the staff X has told that team leader, "I want to grow. I want more responsibility. I'm ready, and give me little bits so that I can show you how ready I am." And then, bam! It all just ties in together.
Well, you got to give people a place to go, right? Like if you want to keep your A+ people want to grow. You keep saying it, right? They want to grow. Yeah. They want to know how, you know, and there's a lot of ways to grow. They're not all necessarily being promoted. There are other ways to grow in responsibility and character and joy, right? Like in compensation. So it sounds like you have an awareness of that and you're harnessing that to keep people engaged.
Yeah. I was just thinking about another one. So a personal goal that one of the staff had was that she wanted to donate $500 a year to St. Jude's.
Yeah.
And she actually donated her pay raises. She's like, I don't want a pay raise. I want you to write a check on my behalf to St. Jude. And it's like, whoa.
Wow.
Okay, cool. Never heard of that before like that. And it's like, well, can we do that? Yeah, we can do that. And so we figured it out, and that was just happy as a clam, that staff.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's different. And how are you supposed to get to learn about them and know them unless you actually engage?
That's it, man. And that goes back to understanding them as a whole person. Natalie Dawson, personal, professional, and financial.
Yeah.
I love that framework, man. I think a lot of people could get mileage out of that framework and use that as a way to maybe angle in closer with their people, because you got to know your people, right? For you to know that this employee had this passion for St. Jude and just wanted to give, you're not going to know that from casual conversation. You're going to know that through intentionally getting to know that person in their heart.
Yep.
And we're allowed to do that, right?
We are. It's okay. It's okay to be human with humans. Go figure.
Yeah. I love that so much, man. There's a lot of wisdom in that. Any other wisdom to share in terms of what you've learned in your years as a leader, bonding a team together, making a team happy and effective and delightful? What are any other secrets you would share with us about that?
Yeah, it takes similar to what I mentioned earlier. You got to have the in the service we call it staying power. You got to have
Hmm.
the staying power to keep showing up for your team, and that means from frontline staff all the way to our CEO. Everyone needs to show up for their team. So our leadership shows up for the leadership members. We're there to support one another and figure pressure points out, and you know figure out how to answer the question or move through the problem together if they need it, or if they just want to bounce ideas. But then that cascades to their direct reports too. So say one of the providers is having a hard time with how do I do this, that, or the other. We have an entire team that they can ask questions to, including their team leader. So but you still have to show up, and that showing up part, it's the showing up month after month, year after year, and for the right reason. And that's like that
Yeah.
showing that staying power. It can grind you down, but you gotta figure out, like, eventually, if you're no longer passionate about it, that's first cue that either you need to reassess what's going on in your life, and maybe it's time to move on to other things, or maybe you haven't taken a vacation. You
Yeah.
did a little vacation, you did a reset, something.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Passion. So I can see that that's one of your filters too. People that are going to be passionate for the mission, passionate for because right because to some degree that's it's not all feelings. Some of it is your will and your choice. Like I choose to be here and I choose to show up, and sometimes you're not going to feel like it, right?
Yeah,
But there's something in our guts that keeps us going for years and years and years, and that would probably have something to do with our belief in the purpose,
yeah,
our belief in a greater purpose. Why am I grinding? Um, you got to have a reason, right? You got to have an overarching reason.
yeah, yeah. And sometimes that's as simple as uh, I show up to work because I've heard this before, because I don't want to be at home. It's like,
Yeah,
ooh, that's rough.
yeah,
What are you doing about your home situation, though?
yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes it's like, I love being with my teammates, and
Mm-hmm.
they feed off of each other, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's if I know how much the patients rely on me,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like my patients. I enjoy watching them grow, and it's like that's the type of stuff that keeps you coming back.
Yeah. Yep. It's good. So I think you've alluded to this a little bit, but I'm going to ask you about your dream for the business. Where you're heading, where you'd like to be, what's the mountaintop look like, and you've talked a little bit about your franchising out. You've kind of alluded to that.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with that future end state that you're seeking?
Yeah, yeah, and so we've developed and fine-tuned a really good organization here. It's very efficient, and it's lean where it needs to be, and our mission. I mean, we serve clients every day, man. It's very simple. Be here for the clients, and meet the needs that they have when they have them. Um, but yeah, it's replicating something that actually works, as opposed to continuing to do what everybody out there has been trying to do. So, like, I know of organizations that want to change, their operation, want to change their culture, and they
Yep.
just don't know how.
Yep.
And they have very toxic, very, very toxic cultures, and
Yep.
they don't know how to evolve, how to change. Well, we can give them a way to do that in a very systematic fashion. Um,
Man.
I've seen where providers have tried to branch out on their own, and like I've set up several private practices prior to this, and
Yep.
I've seen where just because you have an MD doesn't mean that you're a great business person.
Right.
That's not what they teach you in medical school. Actually, they don't teach you any of that, and it's horrible. And so going out on your own, it's like, oh my gosh, where do I start? I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I'm a
Yep.
provider. I have an
Yep.
entrepreneurial spirit. I
Yep.
want to do it. I want to do it for the right reasons. Uh, where do I start? How do I start? And then
Yeah.
not get myself in trouble, whether that be
Yep.
financial or regulatory. And so yeah, it's that bringing a fresh approach to outpatient psychiatry, which apparently hasn't really been done. I've been
Yeah.
trying to find, yeah,
Yeah.
they like there are some organizations, they're therapy first, which is great. Um, but the therapy world and the psychiatry world, they're very different.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any natural psychiatry organizations out there that have a franchise offering.
Yeah.
So,
So you're doing it.
yeah, yeah, why not? Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, because you're hungry. Because
Yes,
you're
sir.
hungry and you're a hard charger, man. You're moving forward. So would you describe this? I don't know if this is right, but the fresh approach to outpatient psychiatry, is there an entrepreneurial component to it? Like, there's an entrepreneurial way of thinking about outpatient psychiatry that you can both do extremely good in the world and have an efficient organization that somehow kind of sails above the complexity that muddles down
Yeah.
most organizations in the industry. Am I catching the heart of what
I
you're trying
think
to
so.
do?
I think, yeah, that would be fair. It's that entrepreneurial piece has a financial component to it. So you could build whatever you want. If it's not financially viable, it's not going to last.
Yeah.
And so it has to be financially viable, which does mean make a margin. Oh no, margin in psychiatry. Come on, you have to, or else you're not gonna make
Yeah.
it.
Or how are you going to make your people happy? You're not going to be able to make your people happy financially, right? You're not going to meet their financial needs. You're not going to keep good talent.
Right.
And you're not going to be a good organization if you can't keep
Right.
good talent.
Right.
Period.
Right. Period. Yep. And so, yeah, it does draw from the people who are interested in being like business, not being like, it's business owners. So like it is their organization. They happen to fly under the Bright Futures Psychiatry flag with our operating systems and everything that we have ready to go.
Yeah.
And the reason for it though is because there is no way that I'm going to be able to impact the way that say 500 franchisees can.
Yeah.
No way. I can't do that.
Right.
I know I can't.
Right.
But 500,
Yeah.
they could.
Yeah.
You know, and if that 500 turns into 1,000 sites across the country, those are big numbers.
Yeah.
Big numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then now we're having a really big impact across the country. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's I'm sure some of my colleagues would say, "Oh, that's really, really grandiose, Juan." Sure is.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, you're uncommon. I don't meet many people like you because you have vision and big dreams. Then you also have this kind of executional order. I'd call it orderly, discerning side of creating systems to go with it. And so that's uncommon, man. It's an awesome combination to have the big dream and the ability to create the systems to make it happen.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I notice it. I'm not just saying it. Like I notice it because it's like you realize that if you're like you have an impact dream, really, you want to create a massive impact on human lives and communities through simplifying access to psychiatric services.
I think you just
Right.
you just nailed it right on the head. That was a very clean, high level view of that. Yeah, I like that.
Thanks, man. I've been listening. But
Yeah.
but you can't do it. You can't do it to the level you want to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to create the system
Yeah.
that other people can adopt that have an entrepreneurial spirit, but maybe lack the systematic approach. Now you got 500 birds flying and 1,000 birds flying, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I hope you do it. I want you to win,
I
Juan.
hope so too. Yeah. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm going to tell you a couple things I noticed from this conversation, and in terms of like what's important to you. And this is for everybody listening, just understanding. A big part of me doing these interviews is so that you can have access to amazing people that are doing amazing things. And then what I love is when people start to join forces, right? When connections and collaborations start to happen because I put somebody on somebody else's radar that needed to be there, right? So here's what I notice about you. A couple words that you use a lot. Access, and specifically in the sense of access to healthcare, but that's usually paired with simplicity. So simplicity is a big one. Of all the words, that might be number one, right? Like there's this, because simple things tend to thrive and propagate, right? But complex things tend to get muddled down and stuck. So there's simplicity, which is the opposite of complication. That's another word, right? Your enemy, your supervillain is complication. That's who you're fighting. Systems. We talked a lot about systems. You have a systematic way of thinking. We talked about grit and grind and tenacity. That's a part of it. Staying power is something another way that you put it, right? We came back to that several times. And then the idea, like I'm going to come back to this healer of systems and protector, man. I'm going to go back to that because I think even in both these conversations, I've seen that characteristic come up, and it just strikes me about what you're trying to do in the world. A healer of systems, a protector, and that's part of why you're able to build teams where you honor the whole person and invite the whole person into the mission and equip the whole person and satisfy the whole person. So congratulations, man. It sounds to me like you're doing amazing things in the world, Juan. Yeah.
I appreciate you recapping it like that. It's a bit humbling to hear somebody else say that. It's like, oh yeah. That's cool.
That's what we're doing here, right? That's what you're doing. You're doing what you're doing has so many roots in clear purpose, and that's not common in business. It's not common to be able to for people to have that awareness of like the roots go deep down into purpose. We're not just playing games here, right? We're not just starting a business just to start a business. Like we're starting a business to make an impact in the world. Right. That's what you and your wife are trying to do.
Absolutely.
And I want you to win. I hope you do. So Juan, thanks for hanging out with us today and sharing your story with us.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. It was fun.
And for those who were up with me up to this point, man, if you know a good connection that can help accelerate Juan, then let me know. I'm bringing you amazing people so that we can amplify each other. I want you to be able to amplify Juan and what he's doing. I want Juan to be able to amplify you and what you're doing. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll keep bringing you episodes like this. Take it easy, everybody, and have a good day.
See you. Thanks.